So you're going to try and get him at a spot so you can work on one, two. So one thing I want to kind of know about is putting your shoulders at the table. Sometimes you'll do this, or you'll more. And this is actually easier on your back, and you can do the test like this. But if they go out, then you got 7 pounds of a head, and then their body, like, and they're not awake. So it's probably best to have them on the table. So I would not have their head off the table. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, during the test, I want you to keep your eyes on me the entire time. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to, and I'm going to move your head for you. And then when I get your head moved to this position, I'm going to have you keep looking at me, and I want you to count backwards from 99, okay? For some patients, that might be challenging. Just so if they're struggling, think, try something easy. Start talking, forward. But you want something that they have to think a little bit. So when you do this, you want to do this. You're going to take the person's head, and you're going to rotate it, okay? And you're going to have them look at you. All right, now, one of the things, you don't want to be here, because if you're straight up and down and they have to look at you, they're going to have their eyes so far to the left that, and you guys probably experienced this before, if you look to the left real hard, all of a sudden your eyes will start going, bop, 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 bop. They'll start beating. That's called nystagmus. And you might confuse that for a positive, because nystagmus is a positive sign also. It's not one of the 5 Ds. But if you have nystagmus, that's a positive sign something could be going on. But if you have someone really at the end of their visual field and they're trying to hold their eyes there, their eyes might get tired and they might get a little beating. So make sure you move your head a little bit so they can look at you, but they have their eyes rotated towards the end, but not at the extreme end. Okay, so I have them in this position. I'm going to rotate them maximally. I'm going to have them look at me, and I want you to start counting backwards from 99. 94, 96 to 94. Are you okay?
Positive.
Yeah.
All right. See, I picked up on it. She just skipped a number. Like, okay. Could be her. Could be, something wrong. So let's try this again. All right. From 50, I want you to count backwards. Okay.
60, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 43.
Good. She did it that time. Okay. Now, you wanted, I think your book says somewhere about 5 to 10 seconds or somewhere in that range. You want to hold them. And then once you're done with this one, then you're going to go the other way. Okay?
50, 49, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41.
She did it. She struggled a little bit, but she got it. Are you okay, though?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So make sure. So you might say, that's good, right? Well, if you look at the statistics on this, it's and this is pretty typical for a lot of these cervical spine patients tests. The sensitivity and the specificity, they have real low specificities, so they're likely to have a high false positive rate. Okay, a false negative rate. Excuse me, a false negative rate. So you want to take another step. Okay. So the next step they would recommend in your book is to try to make the test a little bit more extreme. So what you're going to do is add in side bending and rotation, or side bending and extension to the test. So you can simply do this where you'll side bend them, extend them, and then rotate them. Okay? And then they go through the exact same thing. Right, and then also left. So it's like it's like kind of kicking it up a notch. Okay, do you have a question?
So if they're positive on one side, you just stop, right? You don't do the...
That's right. So Adam's question was, if there's positive on one side, just stop. That's it. You don't need to check the other side. Test done. It's not a side thing. It's just a positive. Okay. So so let's just go over this again. The first baseline test, have them lay down. You rotate them to, doesn't matter, a side. They start counting backwards. You visualize it. They go through that 5 to 10 seconds. You go the other way, same thing, 5 to 10 seconds. Give them a break for a second. Say, all right, I'm going to kick it up a notch here. I'm going to add in side bending and rotation and extension into this thing. So extension, side bending, rotation, start talking again, another 5 to 10 seconds, the other side, 5 to 10 seconds. If they get through that and there's nothing going on, you're good. Yes?
I talked with Ken, he wrote the book, and he had a typo that should be a 20-second hold, but everything else, he wasn't gonna change anything else except that it should be longer than 5 to 10 seconds, because you're doing it according to what Mitchell did in 2004, that study, so.
So did you guys hear that? So a little bit longer than 10 seconds, maybe up towards of 20 seconds.
And you notice how he moved over so that the patient could look at his forehead, so that it didn't create nystagmus, that's another thing to remember.
But you could see nystagmus, okay? But you shouldn't see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, so you didn't create it.
Yeah, so you didn't create, right. And again, I think the key thing is, there's a lot of false negatives with this test. So what do you still, even if the person, you've done this test, they've gotten through it, they're clear, but they're dizzy, you still always want to be on the lookout. That's why I think it's important to check it every time you do something, or with these pre-positional holds. Make sense? Pretty easy test. It's just mechanical, step by step, okay? So how about this, before we do anything with anybody in class here, let's check it. Now, does anyone know up front that you do have something going on? Because if you do, don't let someone do it to you. You can just be the observant person. I think you heard talk to Dr. Lonergan the other day about you were a little dizzy, right?
I think I'm business, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd just be careful with you. So maybe you can observe, okay?
Also, if you have an acute neck problem right now, if it hurts for you to rotate, let the person working on you know, and you may not do a full test, but then